Hey folks, Jason Wilmot here, and in this video what I want to do is show you how to create a Facebook or Instagram meta ads campaign to generate leads and brand awareness for your school. And before we get started, what I'm going to do in this video is walk you through a couple different things. So we have to have an understanding of the Facebook Ads Manager. This isn't going to be an all-encompassing video on the Facebook Ads Manager. There's plenty of up-to-date videos out there, but we're specifically going to be focused on something called your pixel, creating your pixel, and then getting that onto your website. There's a lot of different ways that you can do that. And then once that is created, effectively what you have is a device that's listening for the actions that take place on your website. Really what this pixel is a tracking mechanism that allows you to do two things. One, it's going to send the feedback back to Facebook or back to Meta, allowing you to understand if you're running ads, how many people are actually resulting in as leads or conversions. That is the metric that sends, or the pixel is the tool that sends that data back to Facebook, allowing you to make educated decisions in that regard. Then the other thing that you have to understand about a pixel is that it enables machine learning. So if you are trying to attract prospective parents to your school, if you have that pixel on your website, what you can do is when people opt in, you can tell Facebook, hey, these people have opted in. What I want to do is have more people that look like this. And therefore, you have this machine learning that really makes online advertising and digital marketing just very, very, very powerful. The other thing that a pixel can do is something towards retargeting. Now, I'm not going to cover retargeting in this video, but what retargeting looks like is this. You've all seen it online, where if you go to a website, you add something to your shopping cart, you decide that you don't want it, you get back online later on Facebook or Instagram, and then you see that item that you pushed or you placed in your cart. Now, what Facebook is doing right there is it's understanding who has visited the website, what they've done, and then if they didn't take a specific action, then you can program your ad campaign to put an ad back in front of them. Now, I know this is not shopping, that this is more of a lead-based campaign where you're trying to get people to either download an information kit or fill out a form so that you can continue to nurture them. So hopefully you can either book a phone call with these people, they can submit an application, they can book a tour. But ultimately, what you're trying to do in this retargeting campaign is saying if you're pushing people to the website and they're not taking action, what you can do is you can go back and find them and bring them back in. So that's called retargeting. Again, we're not going to really be focusing on that in this video. What we're going to be primarily focusing on is how do we just set up this ad campaign for your school. So the first thing that we need to do is take care of that Facebook pixel. Make sure that that pixel is on your website or it's located within your forms. Now, I'm making this video on behalf of Schooly. Schooly is a platform where we leverage automation, we leverage a CRM, and just a whole host of tools in order for a seamless automation or a seamless way to get more enrollments. And so when somebody does opt in, there's something that happens after they do, meaning if somebody opts in on your website, they should, in my opinion, start to get an email drip that drips them out, that drips out over a couple of days. And ultimately what that does is it continues to warm the lead and surfaces your offer, surfaces the next call to action, whether that is an application or a phone call or a tour, whatever it is. The other thing would be like you can also communicate via SMS. And so if you use our platform Schooly, if somebody opts in, what will happen is they will start to get email drips. They could start to get SMS drips. You can use a voicemail drop tool so that you can send them a voicemail directly to their phone. And ultimately, what you're trying to do with that automation is, one, you have everybody in one place because it's a CRM. But ultimately, what you're trying to do within that CRM is move people down the pipeline and leverage automation to do it for you. So I want to be clear on that. It is a good thing to go out and leverage tools like Facebook Ads to go get leads. But if you're not following up with your leads, if you're not calling them, if you don't have a central location, that's really going to, I should say, stifle some of your efforts on Facebook ads. So the reason I'm making this video, though, is because we do provide schools with all of that post opt-in automation. We provide them with a whole host of things with the CRM, Google reviews, social media scheduling. It's really a one-stop shop to grow your online presence while organizing and keeping all of your your leads and your pipeline in one place. So I want to keep that in mind, that yes, it's good to go get leads, and this is why I'm going to make this video and showing you how to do that. But also you have to keep in mind what happens after they become a lead. How are you going to continue to nurture them? Obviously, it's a lot of work doing things manually. And so what we have built in Schooly is, and we've partnered with schools to build this. What we've done is we've built a whole host of automations and workflows that work on your behalf that just save you so much time. So the nice thing about setting up Facebook ads is if it's running, if somebody becomes a lead, you have this whole workflow of things that are going to happen after they become a lead. And ultimately, that is going to help you save more time, save more money, but then ultimately get you more enrollments for your school. So enough about the post opt-in automation. Just know that that's hugely important. You don't want to just go get leads and then have them sit there. What we want to do is have this whole stream that's just working together. So let's dive into our Facebook Ads Manager. We'll talk about a pixel real briefly, and then we'll get into the campaign building. All right, so let's hop into our Facebook Business Manager. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is go into our business settings if you do not have a pixel. And what we'll need to do is click on Business Settings, and then we'll go into something called Data Sets. It's under Data Sources, Data Sets, and this is where we will create our new pixel. We'll click Add. We'll name this data set. This will be Schooly Test. And then this is what we need to be able to deploy on our website. Now, I'm not going to get in on how to deploy that because all websites are different. Typically, we use something called Google Tag Manager. In the Schooly platform, you don't need to necessarily have your pixel on the website. We can put the pixel directly in the form, and I show our users how to do that in a different video. Just know that this doesn't have to be on your website. It can just be in your forms, and it is simple as that. But once you have this set up, make sure that you do add yourself as a user. I'm going to add myself to have all control over this. And then what you're going to do finally is connect it to an asset. This asset is your ad account. So if you have an ad account that you want to connect this to, then that's what you would do. You would select, and this way the ad account, meaning the ad account, the ads manager that I'm about to get into, is connected to the pixel. The pixel is connected to you. And so all of these elements are now working together. What we need to do now, though, is make sure that that pixel is on your website or is in your form. If you use the Schooly platform, what you do is when you have a form, it gives you the option to put in your Facebook pixel event, and then you can designate what event you want to fire when somebody fills out that form. And in this case, it would be a lead. So getting the pixel on your website is an important part. It's not necessarily difficult. Most of the time, we just do that through Tag Manager. There's going to be other ways. If depending on your web host, you might have a Facebook pixel native integration involved in that. So I'm not going to get into that in this video. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually get to the campaign building. So I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to go to Ads Manager. And this is where we're going to dive into building out the campaigns. All right, we'll go back to this. And then JT, make sure all of this is just blurred out. Let's do this. Okay, yeah, make sure just all of this is blurred out so nobody knows what's going on here. So, all right, let's go ahead and, okay, so we're back in our ads manager. What we're going to do now is click create. Now, what type of campaign are we ultimately looking to do? Really, we have two choices here. One is an awareness campaign where we're just trying to get this, our ad out to as many people as possible. Now, some of the time that works, but if you're actually trying to drive leads, I would not suggest this. What I would suggest is this leads option or sales. Now, I know you're not selling things if you are driving people towards an application or something like that, but what we want is this. This is the C word called conversions on the screen, which is avoiding me at the second. So a conversion in this case is somebody doing the thing that you want to do. In this case, it would be somebody opting in as a lead. So you could either have a lead event nested under this conversion, or you can have this lead. This is also good for conversions as well. So for this video, I'm just going to stick with leads because that is the purpose of this. Just know that we are not having folks fill out a lead form on Facebook. I think you've probably seen that before, where a form opens up on Facebook, somebody fills out their information and they submit. Now, while that can be used, most of the time those leads are not nearly as qualified as taking that lead from the ad to your website, having them consume a little bit of information, and then opt in with their details. In marketing or in digital marketing, this is called friction. Sometimes we want friction, sometimes we don't want friction. In this case, that feels like the right amount of friction. What we don't want to do is fill up your CRM with a bunch of bogus leads. We want these people to be qualified. So we don't want people just opting in or anybody to opt in. We want to put a little amount of friction in front of them. Because remember what I said at the earlier part of the video, if the pixel is self-learning, if you go out and you try to set up an ad campaign and you're just getting all of these junk leads, guess what Facebook is going to give you? More junk leads. And that is not what we want. We want people to be qualified. So in this case, what I would suggest is sending them to a landing page where they can fill out a form. And in that form, that when they submit that form, that is your lead. That is when the event fires. So we'll continue on. We'll go with leads and then we'll continue. Now, I'm going to do something manual because I don't like the tailored anything in Facebook. I want the manual setup, and I think that would be safe for you. Even if this is your first time, I think that this is the area that we need to go down. And so I'm fine with new leads campaign. You could say lead campaign. Name it whatever you want to. The categories are fine. You can leave this alone. The campaign objective is going to be leads, and you're going to dial in that campaign objective a little bit in your ad set. So I'm going to toggle this on to campaign budget optimization. Now, campaign budget optimization means where is your campaign optimizing? Is it at the campaign level or is it at the ad set level? Well, if you're on a limited budget, what I would recommend is trying to always optimize for the campaigns. And what I mean by this is when you're running Facebook ads, you have to exit out of something called the learning phase. A learning phase is where Facebook is trying to figure out what you're trying to do. It's trying to figure out who is the best user to put your ads in front of. And once you get so many events that fire or conversions that fire, then you're able to exit out of the learning mode. You can set that learning mode or those conversion learnings at the ad set level and have multiple ad sets each competing against each other. But what you really want to do is just have all of these competing to each other and feeding the top campaign with those results. That way the whole campaign just knows what you're trying to do. I understand if this is your first time, this might be a little bit fuzzy as far as campaign budget optimization. Just know that this is where I would recommend CBO on Meta almost always. Not necessarily the case on other ad platforms like TikTok, where you can experiment with something called ABO. But what we're going to focus on in this video is just keeping this advantage campaign budget on. So we will set our daily budget. Let's say $20 is fine. And then we will hit next. So this is our ad set. Now, the campaign is the objective, what we're trying to do. And in this case, we've determined that we want to go get leads. The ad group is all about who are we targeting, where are they, and where are they going to see this ad. So for example, we are going to be targeting, let's say males and females of ages 35 to 55 in a specific area. So that's what I mean by who are we targeting, where are we targeting, and then where are they going to see this ad? Well, we have the option to put this on Instagram. We have the option to put this on Facebook. We have the option to do both and let Facebook or Meta do the digging for us. And that's probably what we will do in this video. But the one thing that I need to make sure that we're not selecting in this example is instant forms. This is what when you set up a lead campaign, this is what it automatically defaults to, and we don't want to do that. What we want to do is go to websites because we're sending people to the website and the conversion event is going to happen on your website. So this is where your pixel really comes into play. You need to make sure that your pixel is tied to your ads manager because what we need to optimize is for an event inside a pixel. Now remember, an event is the thing that we just want to have happen. What we want are leads. And so that's what Facebook, in this case, or in Meta, is going to be listening for. Are these people filling out the form? If they fill out the form on the website, then an event fires in the background called a lead event in this case, and it sends that information back to Facebook. And so with this connection going on, with this machine learning what Facebook is going to go do is find whoever opted in and became a lead and go find people who behave like that. And this is how we just continually to optimize. So this is good. I want to make sure that that is my pixel. And that is the conversion event that I'm optimizing towards. Now, the Facebook page, you'll need to make sure that your Facebook page is also connected to your Ads Manager account. And in this case, what we can do is we will select our page from this. Let's go Schooly. You might have to view the, you might have to have terms. Facebook will make sure that you have a privacy policy on your page in order to run these lead campaigns. So if you haven't done this already, sign your life away. There you go, Mark. And then we should be good to go. So as far as a start date, I think we don't need to do too many things on this. I think, once we hit the publish button, that's when we want the ads to go. But if you are typically running a campaign for like brand awareness or something, that's where you might have a window where you're promoting something and you want to make sure that you're not overspending. Just know that we are going to be spending money every single day, $20 at the moment, for this ad, and it will run and it will continue to take your money until you toggle it off. So we're not going to worry too much about ad set spending limits. This is a little bit more advanced, but if you're running 3 different ad sets and you want to make sure that the budgets are evenly distributed, this is where you get into the ad spend limits. You don't really need to worry about that at the moment. So Puerto Rico is where this currently is targeting. I am in Lincoln, Nebraska. My partner Grant lives in Puerto Rico, and that's where Schooly is run out of. So let's just do Lincoln, Nebraska, and see what that comes up with. Lincoln Heights, Nebraska. Let's do Lincoln, Nebraska. See what comes up here. All right. So this is the next part. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we're only targeting people in the area that could come to your school. And I've seen many people do this wrong because they'll just target anybody and everybody. What we are doing right now is we are saying to Facebook or Meta, hey, I want you to advertise, and I want you to advertise to Lincoln, Nebraska, and within a 25-mile radius of that. If that's too big, if that's like, if you know that your parents only, maximum live something like 10 miles, then let's just reduce this down to 10. And now I'm only advertising to the Lincoln area where there's 10 miles around it. I don't think that that's big enough. I think folks are willing to drive, especially to a school that they want to go to. So let's just make it 15. Now, some of these you could be doing 50. Some of these you could be doing, a wider radius. I don't know the commute time or the how far folks commute to your school, but just keep in mind, most of the time it's probably not going to be more than 15 or something like that. So now what we need to do is we need to go into our Advantage audience. Now, Facebook wants to push this Advantage Plus audience, meaning like, hey, we can figure out who actually wants your stuff. I'm going to switch to Original Audience because that gives me a little bit more options about who I want to target. I don't want to just target anyone because I'm on a limited budget and I want to make sure that I'm hitting the people that I ultimately want to target. So on the age, I definitely don't want to be targeting 18. I don't know what this would be for you. Let's just go 30 through 55. Now, as far as gender is concerned, we can target men, we can target women, we can target both in this case. So if you know that females are ultimately the kind of the folks that you want to get this lead opportunity in front of, then hit women. If you want to do men, then hit men. In this case, what I'm going to do is do both. Now, what we want to do is we don't want to spread our ad budget across any language. If everybody at your school is speaking English, then target English. If there's Spanish, then target Spanish. If there's both, then target both, right? So the way that I would just think about the language and who you target is, what is your ad going to be written in? If it's going to be written in English, I would target English-speaking users. If it's going to be written in a different language, then target those people. So in this case, I am going to be going after English speakers because that is the ad that we are going to be running. I'm going to target both men and women, ages 35 through 55 within this 15-mile radius. Right now, that shows me that I have this many people who would fit that demographic. Now, that's a lot of people. I wouldn't worry about that because we're going to continue to whittle it down right here. So what we want to do, though, is we want to target some demographics. I don't want to just go after everybody 30 through 50. I want to be targeting people who are parents, right? So I'm going to go into Browse and then Demographics, and I'm going to go down to Parents, All Parents. And this is where I can find parents of different ages. And so let's say that if I am going and I want to target, let's say parents with preschoolers, parents 6 to 8, and let's see, so we're at 3 to 5, 7 to 8. Maybe this is a good demographic. You're going to see how my numbers change dramatically. And so if you want to, get this really dialed in, just know that as your audience size decreases, you're going to, have fewer people who actually will be reached with this ad. So if you want to keep it a little bit more broad, then you can definitely do that. Obviously, this just depends on the size of your, the surrounding area. Lincoln, Nebraska, not exactly a bustling metropolis. And so that's okay. But if we know that that's kind of the target, then that's the target. But if you need to expand it, if it's saying, hey, your audience is too narrow, maybe you want to add on a few different ages because maybe Facebook advertises as somebody that it knows has a 2-year-old, but then you also have an 8-year-old as well, and it might just fit within that, or maybe you're getting ready. So just know that you have options here to play around with. The last thing that we're going to do on this page is go to placements. Placements is where your ads will be served. And so again, it's going to try to use this thing called Advantage Plus placements, meaning, hey, we're Facebook. We know all this stuff about you. We know where to put the ads. And most of the time that's true. But if you want to do something more manual, if you're like, hey, I only want this to be on Facebook, I only want this to be on Instagram, or in this case, let's say I only want it to be on Facebook, and I only want it to be in the feed, the stories, the reels, like you can pick all of these. Let's say that I also wanted an Instagram, then I can go down and I can select, well, where do I want this on Instagram? You could say, maybe I don't want it in the right-hand column that shows up over here. I just want it to be, wherever I want. In this case, if you're just started, what I would recommend is actually Advantage Plus. Some of the times I don't recommend this. Maybe for more advanced users, there's probably options to do manual placements and different ad sets and groupings there. But for the most part, Meta is pretty good at throwing out your ads and identifying where people are and where to optimize those. And so for this video, I'm just going to leave this on Advantage Plus. So what that means is people will be advertising. You'll see people will see ads on Facebook, on Instagram, in Messenger, and then on audience networks. If you don't like that audience network, then what you could do is just untick that. Most of the time, your leads are not going to come from an audience network. But Facebook is going to try, or Meta is going to try to find the best spot. And so it will try the audience network. And if it can't find any, it's going to continue to just use all these other platforms. Again, it's pretty good at what it does. That's why they're a giant company, and that's why we're creating a video on this, because ultimately this works. So let's go with Advantage Plus. We'll just go through this one more time. This needs to be optimized for websites. The pixel, my lead event is the conversion, or the conversion event is a lead. I have my page. I've ticked my terms. I have my my time window when this is going to start. I know who I'm targeting. It's people living in Lincoln, Nebraska, within a 15-mile radius, ages 30 through 55. I'm going to target both men and women. They're going to be parents, and they speak English, and I'm going to target them on both, or not on both platforms, on all platforms that Meta contains. So next, I'm going to click Next. Finally, what this page is your ad. So this is how we create an ad in Facebook Messenger. Now, you're seeing some errors up here because it has a carousel. I'm just going to create a single image ad. I'm also going to untick this multi-advertisers. I would just be careful. Whenever you see anything recommended by Facebook, or Google or anything like that, I think that's for shareholders rather than the user. That case, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm just going to leave it unticked because I don't want to increase my exposure. What I want to do is make sure that I'm just not riding alongside other people's ads. So I'm going to go to single image. Typically, what I would name the ad is, like, if it's a video, I would start with the video. If it's an image, then I would start with an image. And then name sort of the name of the image, and then the angle that you have in the ad. The angle is typically the marketing angle that you have. whether you're speaking to pain, whether you're speaking to, are you tired of traditional schools? Are you tired of public schools? I don't know. Or like the gain, are you ready for a new learning experience? Are you ready for a new educational experience? You get it. You're marketers as well. So, and your ethos. So I'm just going to say image 1, or actually this is going to be a video. I'm not really going to do too many things on here because I'm just going to show you the steps. So it's going to be a single video image ad. I'm going to go to add media. This is where you would upload your image or upload your video. I'm going to just pick from something that we already have. This is a parent testimonial. In this case, what I would want to do is I would want to keep this original. And then I'll just hit next. Optimize. Typically what I do is I turn all of these off, but I do turn relevant comments on. You can choose how you want to optimize your ads, but this is typically what I do. I don't really want Facebook adding music or adding stuff to my video or moving creative around or writing its own text. Sometimes that would work, but in this case, I don't want to. So primary text, you could say, hey parents, looking for a new school, something like that. You're going to be a better copywriter than I am, but I think this is where you lean into. Now, the primary text you'll see over here, this is where it shows up in the ad. The headline comes down below, so I'm going to write, this is the headline. And the headline will show up underneath here. Let me try to close this. There we go. Now, this looks like it's showing what it would look like on Instagram. You can have a more advanced preview of all of these ads by clicking this once you're all done. And then this is the description. Now, most of the time, I would say that your eyes here go from the creative to the headline to the description, to the primary text. So the headline is very important. The headline is obviously where you're telling or what you're wanting them to do. And so like if this is a lead magnet or like an information kit that you want to, it'd be like download our free info kit or download this information today. That depends obviously on what you are trying to get these people to do on your website. If you're looking to get them to opt into your your lead magnet, obviously you need to show the value. So this is a way to sort of surface that value in this headline. So the call to action, I would typically lean into learn more, just because it is sort of the CTA that you will have the most success with. Like in this case, if it is a lead, like I don't think anything else really makes sense because remember, you're pushing people to your website in order to do this. So the website is where you're going to send people. So in my case, I'm going to send people to Schooly.io. And this is where, again, where the click, once somebody clicks on this ad, this is where they are directed. So this could be your landing page, right? If you have a specific landing page that you've built out for your lead magnet, then you would want to send them directly to that page because they're clicking from the ad, they go to the page, that's where they can take the action. And then ultimately that's where that lead event happens. So if they convert, then that is really the sequence that we want to be doing. Obviously, what we could be doing, and I'm not showing you guys in this video, is if they click on the landing page, but they don't opt in, how do we retarget them again because they've showed interest? So that's kind of the important layers of retargeting right there. We might be able to get to that in a different video, but again, it's a little bit of logic that we have to go through, and I think the purpose of this video is just to set up a lead campaign, so we're going to focus on that. So we are almost done. This is an important part. We do not want a form. So we are going to click none on this. And I think that's why we had an error up top, because it was saying, hey, you don't have a form. Remember, we don't want a form. The form that we're going to use is on the website. It's not a Facebook form. So again, a Facebook form or an instant form pops up right on Facebook. We want to send people to the website. We want to send the visitors there so they can consume more information about it and then opt in there. So as far as tracking is concerned, many of you will not be adding these, but I do want to show you this one little bit. If you leverage things like Google Analytics to measure your ROI, good for you, because that is the way to really understand your ROI, which ad is converting, everything else. If you're doing multiple sources of traffic like YouTube or Google ads or Facebook ads, you're going to be able to measure your conversion rate. And that's sort of the holy metric in digital marketing. So most of people probably won't add these, but what these are called are UTMs. UTMs are basically a string of parameters that come after a click. And what they do is they send that information directly into Google Analytics, and it allows you to dig into your clicks with 5 layers. And what that ultimately does for you, like I said, it's going to give you your ROI on, it's going to give you your conversion rate. And your conversion rate is basically how often somebody is opting into becoming a lead. And once you've run enough traffic, you look at your data and you can backtrack to see, okay, I spent $100 here, I spent $100 here, I spent $100 here. What is the conversion rate of each one of those? And if you can determine, leveraging the conversion rate, if you can determine the ROI, or not the ROI, but the conversion rate of each one of those sources, that gives you your ROI for each one. And then, okay, I spent $100 here and I got 10 leads from Facebook. So that's $10 a lead. I spent $100 on Google and I only got 2 leads. And so that's $50 a lead. Now, or on TikTok or on YouTube. Now, the one thing that I will say is this is why it is important to have a CRM. Because at the end of the day, leads are not equal, right? I would way rather have 2 qualified leads from something like Google Ads versus 10 unqualified leads from Facebook. Not saying that they're unqualified from Facebook, but hear me out. So the most important part is when these people go into your CRM like Schooly, what you're going to have is a source attached to these people. And so obviously in your pipeline, they're only a lead at that point. But as these people progress through your pipeline and are eventually closed won or closed lost, what you're going to find is you're going to find out, okay, not only where are my leads coming from, it's actually where are my customers coming from, because that's what you really want to be optimizing towards in the long end. And you're not going to find that in Google Analytics. That is going to only be determined through a CRM, because you're going to know, okay, these people, they became a lead on this day, but maybe it took them 2 weeks to convert. Maybe it took them 2 months. Maybe it took them an entire year to convert. That's ultimately going to be found in your CRM, and your CRM will capture this source. It'll capture, okay, did they come from Facebook? Did they come from an ad? Did they come from Google? That's really the powerful part here. So really, we're optimizing for leads on Facebook because it's really hard to optimize for enrollments, because on Facebook, there's, basically a conversion window. And if these events don't happen within a window, then it can only optimize towards one thing. And that's typically what we're going to be optimizing in this case. I know that's a lot of technobabble right there, but just trust me on this. Worked with, literally spent millions in dollars of ad spend, worked with, multi-million-dollar companies. It all comes down to the CRM and understanding where these leads are coming from and which leads ultimately convert. And once you look at these conversions, and when I say convert, become customers, pay you money. Once they pay you money, that's what you really want to dial in. Where did they come from originally? What ad was it from? What source was it from? That's going to be really the metric that you want to use to indicate where you want to go in the future. But ultimately, if you're just setting up campaigns, you have to just stick to this front end. You have to just focus on the leads, and then over time, leverage your CRM to understand which leads, where do they come from, which are those actually convert into paid customers or members. So the last thing that I would add here is UTM_term. This is going to push through your ads. I always do ad name, and then I always add placement. Where did this person come from? Was it on Instagram? Was it on Facebook? Was it in the feed? Was it a story? That's what all of this information will tell you. So once I hit publish, then everything is live. And what I would do ultimately, let's just hit this publish. I might have a few issues. We'll see if it lets me. Okay. Then you're basically done at this point. Now, the last thing that I would say is I want more than one ad. Well, here's the good news. I'm going to show you how to just tweak this and make it fast. So I'm going to go to the ad. This is the video. I wouldn't name it video. I'd name it video 1 or video Angela or whoever it is, just so you have an idea. But once one of these is made, all you have to do is go to duplicate, and now you're going to have video 2. And so what you could then go do is everything stays the same. Maybe you like the copy just as it is and you just want to experiment with the video. I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to go back to add video. And then let's just say that I want to use this video or this video. I've got a parent perspective from a male, got a parent perspective from a female. Now what I want to do is just see which one of these resonates, because obviously one of them is going to resonate probably more than the other, and you're going to have all of that information in your analytics, and then you're going to be able to make a really good decision. And not only this, when somebody becomes a customer when somebody becomes a lead and you're using a CRM like Schooly, that source attribution, that attribution is this, what we made earlier. It is this, this tracking attribution. You'll be able to determine, where did these people come from? And then ultimately, that's going to follow them all the way through the pipeline. This is basically printed on their information in a CRM, and then that will follow them all the way through. So I think we covered everything, guys. I know this is probably a little bit of a long video, but hopefully it was very, very helpful. And then what I want to do, in the final minute is just tell you, if you're interested more about Schooly, visit our website, schooly.io, and you can watch a free demo of our product there. You can book a time with us to talk it over. But ultimately, what this comes down to is, like, I've shown you how to go get leads. Now, what we want to be able to do is really let systems and automation do the heavy lifting for you. So what Schooly is a CRM, but it's so much more than a CRM. It is a CRM where all of your contacts are going to come into. You can email them, you can text them, you can message them from your desktop, from your mobile. And then once that communication is taking place, that's great. If the communication hasn't started, what we do is we drip information out to these people. So if somebody opts in on your website, they become a lead. Well, let's drip them emails. Let's give them value. Let's send them videos. Let's send them resources. Let's earn their trust. If they want to communicate via text, we'll send them an SMS drip. And so if they want to communicate with you via text or email, in Schooly, it all comes to one central dashboard so that you can do this on your phone. You can reply whether they're texting or whether they're emailing. You can just reply back in one spot. And then hopefully you can just move them along the pipeline. If they book a tour or book a call with you, they're sent reminders. They can reschedule if something happens. All of that is done without you having to do anything. Basically, once you become a customer, we onboard you and we set up all of your automations. And once those are live, you're pretty much good to go. The only thing that you need to do is obviously stay on top of your leads and who is interested in moving them and nurturing them down the funnel. So would highly encourage you to check out Schooly. If you do become a customer, I do show you how to integrate that pixel with the forms within Schooly. So all of this is not lost. Once you become a customer, you can have access to how we actually optimize towards those campaigns. And then there's other things like Google Ads that we gladly provide as an additional service to your Schooly CRM and automation as well. So anyways, guys, my name is Jason Wilmot. I am the founder of Schooly. I'm a former educator and I love teaching, and I hope that this was helpful. I hope that I taught you something. I hope this brings you a lot of value. If you want to chat, go ahead and go to schooly.io, fill out a time to connect, learn more about our automation system, and I'll see you on the call. All right. Cheers, guys. Bye.